Hello everyone, once again welcome to Alka's Space. Today with this video I am going to share the information about the working of brain. I have already made a video on how brain works. It was about neural connections. This video is something different. This video is about the special food component that makes our brain work tirelessly for hours and hours. We already know that our brain is the ever busy organ. It makes us think, we create, we read, we write, we walk, we do everything with the help of brain. Even while sleeping, our brain is working continuously. It is not sleeping, it works, yes. But what do we eat? What is that special food component in our diet that makes our brain work for hours and hours? Please continue watching this video till end, because the information I'm going to share is very important and is helpful for your routine dietary plan and your routine work. So please continue watching till now. Let us zoom into the brain to see what actually happens inside the brain when it is working. Actually, it is working day and night. It is working 24 hours without stopping. Now let us see what actually happens inside the brain. Now, for a quick recap, we already know that brain is made up of zillions and zillions of neurons. Neurons are actually brain cells, individual brain cells that are interconnected with each other at the junctions. That junction is known as synapse. At these synapses only, the information is transmitted from one neuron to another. Chemicals that are released at the synapse are known as neurotransmitters. When the pattern of activity is created inside the neurons with the help of this transmission of impulse, that is when we work, we think, we create, we read, whatever we are doing, it is just because of transmission of impulses from one neuron to another neuron. What happens is, when neurons are working, it consumes around 2/3 of brain's energy. And to be continuously supplied with this energy, neurons have to be proactive. So the energy that the brain gets to work is from the glucose. What happens is, when neurons are working, we already know that what glucose is, but let me tell you, glucose is the simplest form of sugar. The sugar we eat, the sugar that is present in many food items, these are various forms of sugars. Glucose is one simplest form of sugar that is required by our brain to work. Glucose supplies energy to the brain. Actually, what happens, let us go a bit more deeper. Every cell is made up of its organelles, and one of the organelle of a cell is known as mitochondria. Mitochondria is the organelle, is the part of a cell that actually is known as powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria is the organelle, is the part of a cell that glucose is processed and is converted into ATP. Glucose is converted into ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. What is ATP? ATP is the energy currency. Just like we have money currencies of different countries, we have rupee, dollar, euros, yen, and so many currencies. Just like that, our energy is also present in the form of currency inside our body, and that currency is known as ATP. So with this, we are clear that our brain basically runs on glucose. When the glucose levels are low, then the neurotransmitters are not released, and thus it affects the functioning of transmission of impulse from one nerve cell to another nerve cell, that is one neuron to another neuron. So when you are low with your sugar, you have not eaten anything for long, so you must have noticed that at this time you feel clumsy, you feel lazy, sleepy, you don't feel like working anything. Your brain actually doesn't work when you have not eaten. It is because the amount of glucose that our brain requires to work is not supplied from the body to the brain. Though brain takes ample amount of glucose from the body. Bodies anyhow supplies glucose to the brain to make it function continuously, but still when it is too long that you have not eaten anything, you have not consumed anything, the brain functioning is actually affected. Just keep a check on your glucose or sugar intake, but this does not mean that you start taking sugars, unhealthy sugar or any kind of sugar above the required levels. Excess of anything is bad. So what amount of sugar is required for your brain functioning, plus that is absorbed by the blood and all that process that our blood assimilates sugars into our body, that is to be kept in mind if you are prone to diabetes or any kind of the hormonal imbalance. What I mean to say is that you should not skip your meals. You should plan your meals accordingly so that the sugars, the glucose is supplied to the brain without any hindrance. For example, just take an example. If an adult is consuming around 200 grams of glucose every day, then around 130 grams of glucose is taken up by brain. If the brain gets shortage of glucose, it somehow captures the glucose from the body to meet its requirements, and this mechanism is very, very essential for survival. Major takeaway from this video is that we should plan our meals accordingly. And very important, we should not skip our breakfast, because after long hours of sleep, breakfast is the first meal that is required, and brain requires that, something without that much of gap. That is why eating breakfast, never missing that first meal of the day, is always recommended, because having breakfast actually affects our memory and concentration. Especially for teenagers, especially for students who are in a hurry in the morning to go to the school or college in time, they usually skip their breakfast. So my suggestion is, my advice is that you should not skip your breakfast in any case, just because you want your brain to work efficiently. So I hope this helps. Do not forget to like and share this video with your family and friends. There is a complete playlist on my channel that includes pocket-friendly, budget-friendly activities that will actually help in building up the connections, in building up the brain architecture of your child. So please do subscribe to my channel for more and more content like this. Thank you and have a nice day.